Well, hello there, fellow pawns of the patriarchy. I am your host, Maria Legier, and I would like to thank everyone who has bought my book, Howling at the Slutwalk Moon. It is very much appreciated. This is Pray the Masculine Away. We walk through remnants of a dream, tiptoe upon these peculiar paths that led us here and then led us up the stairs to nowhere. Up the stepping stones, up the downstairs, up, until we gaze upon the magnificently altered beast of social consciousness born from reimagined past grievance that give the saintly sheltered few a pastime activity in the monotonous monochrome stethoscope, through which they view and violate the world according to their ferociously feral feminist fault line. Did you know, young man, young boy, young son, that you can unlearn your horrible, maddening masculine ways? There are certain programs for that locked within the bowels of the movement, designed by programmed particulars to program particularly you out of yourself and into the new and finely molded self gifted you by those who have decided that you are the problem in and of yourself. Shame about your testosterone, young man, can't do nothing about that, but you can unlearn the learned behaviour associated with biological impulse and hormonal drive. We shall and will, through ham-fisted hammering of the point in classrooms bubbling with egotistical masters of rhetorical nonsense posing as teachers, masters and professors in the triumvirate that reign in this particular section of sociological hell, learn away your wayward masculine ways, that triumvirate being intersectionalism, feminism and blank slate theory. Such a finely gargled piece of methodological conditioning into the affirmed and reaffirmed affirmative action that is revised history, viewed through a black hole Easter Sunday deep within the chasm of ideologically infected minds. Everything is learned behaviour. Nothing is biological. Everything is a social construct and must not be taken seriously. Accepting those ideas that in themselves are a social construct that say that all things are social constructs and that social constructs are not to be taken seriously. It seems, then, perhaps, that quite a few social constructs are more believable social constructs than other social constructs to the social constructionist hive mind, and must therefore be taken seriously by one and all under the eternal and wonderful sun of feminism and its guiding hands that guide your hands unto their face and rub raw flesh to worship at their altar. The social construct that is feminism and the entire theory of social constructivism is a social construct to be taken seriously, even when social constructs are not to be taken seriously, or to be believed. If everything is a social construct and may be learned and unlearned at will and wonder and at whimsy, why then is the one better than the other? And who is to say? Who has the audacity, the arrogance and the self-absorption to say that their social construct is the one social construct that all must be pushed into, the one groove that shall fit all? This one size fits all, except the land whales, and all must fit within this one size or be considered a faulty individual, a piece of the puzzle and the engineering and the grand machine that does not fit within the socially conditioned reflexive and reactive ideology supreme. Those that do not fit are unpersoned and must be cancelled, must be disappeared beneath the blackened crust of the interesting spectacle sky above. And I cannot help but think, when faced with feminist programs that seek to unlearn masculine behaviour, about another branch of spectacularly ill-conceived paths that spread from insufferable ideas in the past. That horrid idea being pray the gay away, or aversion therapy for that matter, used perfectly against those whom the powers that be decided at the time were undesirable, an effort to mold them into beautiful people that were beautifully aligned with the ways things should be as viewed from those who held the banner of morality at that point in time. Our species never learn. It does not adapt, it grows, and festers, and then steps back in time, and grabs old ideas, then implements them into something labelled new, then claim these ideas to be new and this old path to be the new path that leads to a better world and society for all involved, particularly those subjected to the treatment, those whom the shakers and movers decided are the scapegoats at that point in history. And all the time, every single fucking time, we do not stop and we do not look and we do not listen. We do not stand still, we do not see, we do not hear. And so we repeat and we repeat and we repeat, again and again, time and time again. The same pattern, the same behaviour, the same absurd nonsense. thinking that we've got it right this time around, we've got it down, we're hip, hap and hopping to what's happening. And it is all the same all the time. And we can pray the gay away and we can pray the masculine away. Failing that, we go for aversion therapy. Failing that, we go to the law to punish those who transgress upon what we have decided is good form and fashion in the here and now. Failing that, we might seek other extremes to rid us of undesirable elements in our shackled and chained societies. We might seek extermination, like Sally Miller Gerhardt fantasizing about when stating that we must reduce all men to about 10% of the population. And this ideologically infected cunt waffle founded gender studies still taught in universities today. Of course, the insufferable head boppers, the nodders and yes men and women, who do not dare defy the social norms and regulations will tell us doubtlessly and with shit-eating grins and brown noses from being slaves to the cerebral coprophilia of feminist thought and action, that this woman is not a true feminist. No real feminist would found feminist studies to teach feminist thought, you know. Only a fake feminist would do that. No real feminist would teach feminist thought to other people and turn them into raging and raving mad feminist goons. No real feminist would write books on feminism and expound on its ideas and lay down the framework for the ideology and the secular religion. That is something the fake feminist would do. The real feminist does not contribute to the thoughts and teachings in any way, but sits at home proudly labeling themselves as feminist and shame and ridicule any who do not comply with the terms and conditions within the feminist framework that is laid down by those who are not real feminists but who have dedicated their entire lives and careers to feminism and its abhorrent ideas, despite not being real feminists. What should be unlearned is a feminist ideology. It should not be taught in schools or universities as truth. No ism should. It should not be allowed to infect the population, should not be allowed to be considered the only voice to speak on sex and gender. And it most definitely should not be the ideology, the movement or the secular religion that has a monopoly on the concept of equality. Because teaching an ism in schools as a fact is nothing short of indoctrination. It is political brainwashing and social engineering, and I think it is nearing its peak. Or it has gone over its peak. And round the bowl of shit goes. All must take a sip and a taste. All must take part in the holy feminist sacrament, the bread and butter, the cross and nails of feminist shit-flinging. In this way, through the communal shit bowl, the sharing of the bowl, the sharing of the shit, the sharing of the innermost thoughts of feminist fuckery, all are aligned with the feminist mystical forces and trajectories. All take part, and the front presented as equality between the sexes. Dig deeper and you uncover the shit fairly quick. That won't matter though, because the deed is done and the West have fallen into the clammy hands and saggy bosom of dread feminist ideology, caught and entwined yet again within the call for ideological purity. You must be pure, you must be clean, you must fall to your knees and say you are a feminist, must show it in heart and soul and mind, or else you are an enemy of the state and of society and are then considered an outlaw. Not protected by any law, not protected from the shit-flingers who fling shit and assault and attack. And friends and families will turn their back and leave, or they will join in the assault. A few may maybe whisper in your ear that the aversion therapy ain't all that bad, that maybe you should try their programs, join their camps, that they may very well be able to pray the gay away. Excuse me, I meant pray the masculine away. Because that is how we do it in these days and in the days that went before and in the days yet to come. Same shit, different wrapping. For you must fall in line and you must take part in wider society. You must be included and taken into the fold. You must be protected from outside harm and you must protect others from outside harm. And outside harm does always and ever come from outside. And who is on the outside but the outsider? And the outsider is a dread phantom, a philosophical conundrum concocted in metaphysical gender studies programs that decided that all who do not conform, all that fall out of alignment, hate and hate and hate and do nothing but hate. And that is hate thrown in the wrong direction, in their direction. And how can one, how could one, how is it possible to hate the wider society which does wish for nothing but equal treatment as it presents itself front and center, hiding the dogmatic building blocks of their castration attempts behind the smoke and sulfur rising from their re-education camps? So pray the masculine away. Unlearn your testosterone-fueled behaviour. Unlearn your very nature. Or else be cast out, under pain of death. A movement that has engineered society for decades to view things in their light, that has told society that it must tread their path, is in complete control. It has become our aristocratic elite, and the river of history is true and clear and decadent and depraved, and it flows, and it goes, and it shines, and then it declines. The aristocracy will fall. The peasants are restless. They have run out of bread. They have run out of cake. The aristocracy, on the other hand, have become fearless. They truly believe themselves to be above the plebs and peasants, to be above the law. Too far gone in their hubris, they made their finishing move too quickly, and they did not stop, and they did not think, and they did not consider. Lies will only work when the lies are not too far detached from objective and observable reality, which they are at the present moment. The tyranny is evident. There are not many men who will agree to conversion therapy or aversion therapy, which, when all is said and done, is exactly what programs to unlearn masculine behavior is. The more we see, the more we learn. The more the mask of the aristocracy falls, the more the splendor and the grandeur rots. The syphilis wounds and scars reveal themselves, glaring out from underneath the powder and the pompous wigs. The madness infesting them and eating them is shown, bright as the surface of the fucking sun. And as the mask falls, as the deprivation and decadence is made evident, as the sickness is shown for what it is, the peasants will revolt. And it will be glorious. Thank you very much for watching. Here follows an outro most befitting a video of this nature, a blatant attempt at virtual panhandling. Should you wish to support this channel, as well as my blog and any further endeavours this strange path will take me on, there are a few ways you can do that. The easiest would be to like, share and subscribe, as well as clicking the sometimes functional notification bell. Having the message, such as it is, manspread and mansplained far and wide will do wonders. You could also support my rambling and barely contained insanity by buying my books, which are linked below. More books will be made available as time allows. I also have a Redbubble shop, linked below, where you can buy prints in various forms of some of the artwork presented in my videos. Or you can contact me through the contact form on my blog for original artwork, commissions or prints direct from the source, so to speak. Until next time, I am your humble bearded bard, Morea Legier, manspreading majestically beneath the steel sky of doom.